Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Musings and Music Show on Vosaworld Radio. This is MBIWAN MONJIMBO coming to you on Vosaworld Radio on a Saturday as usual. And for some of you, you'll be listening to this before you ever get to see it. So it means you cannot tell who it is that I have with me here. And I'm not going to be the one to tell you either, because he's here and he's going to tell you his own self. Give us a brief introduction of who our listeners and eventually viewers would be hearing from today. Go ahead, Mullah, and introduce yourself, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Sam NDELY of Cultural Group Benefit Company, the group life insurance specifically designed for cultural association.
Okay, nice to meet you. We're glad to have you on the show because that's a very important topic. The thing is, I don't know, it may not have been quite as obvious decades ago, but now we're at the point where we have organized ourselves, those of us who live in the diaspora out here, we've organized ourselves into groups, and we know how that works. Life happens, children are born, then people also pass away. If you're born, they say one of the surest things that is going to happen to you once you're born is that you will taxes and death. There's no guarantee that you will actually get married or that you'll have children, but what is guaranteed is that you'll eventually go. And so our cultural associations deal with things like that. Yes, they celebrate born house. Yes, they celebrate graduations and things, but ever so often and more often lately, as we age, we have a lot of deaths in our community, and that is where we start hearing about life insurance like he just mentioned. But no matter how, in spite of that, we generally in the African community do not like to discuss any stuff to do with death. We don't write wills. We don't want to talk about it with our children. We don't even want to face it. So I was just wondering, how is it talking about cultural groups in particular? How has the response been working with cultural groups when it comes to this topic of life insurance? How has it worked out so far?
My dear sister, this is a topic that is personal to me, being part of the community, not necessarily an agent. We started this program year 2000.
Okay.
And it was
around a while then.
Yeah, it was an idea that was shared with me by one of my friends who was then the president of the Nigerian Cultural Association. And he called me and said, Sam, we need a group life insurance for our association. I said, his name is Chris. I said, Chris, there's nothing like that. There's no group life insurance for cultural associations. Because most companies will not entertain the fact that cultural associations are viable entities for group life insurance.
Right.
So there's no product like that. He said, well, Sam, go look for it. And that's how it started.
Wow.
So I was
it was born from an actual need.
So fortunately for me, I was working with my partner now. His name is Bob Choppett. And I said, Bob, I was a mentor. You know, I just started insurance. I just had my license then. And he told me, he said, Sam, this is a very difficult product. But since you are very much interested, and I told him what has happened to us Africans, when we migrate here, we still prefer to be buried in Africa.
Right.
So mostly West Africans still prefer to be buried in Africa. Right. And the need for this product is there because our community respects death. Correct. And when somebody dies in the community, it becomes a family death.
True.
Because some members of our community don't have blood relatives here. So it becomes the responsibility of individual communities to bury that particular person.
Right. That community is their family.
That's right. So that's where the idea. So we took us a year looking for a different company, various companies to write it. Unfortunately, he introduced me to his friend, his high school friend who had a bigger agency called Leclerc Corporation.
Okay.
And we went there and we presented the idea to him. He was so fascinated with the whole idea.
The concept.
The whole concept and of what we do, because I had to explain to him what we do when somebody dies in the community. We raise money.
Exactly.
And the idea was, is this a loan to the family? I said, no. We raise money to bury our own. It's not a, we're not give. It's not.
We don't expect anything back.
No, we don't get anything back. And then it took us to a company called Security Life, because he was very close to that company, to see whether they can underwrite the program.
Right.
That's how we started.
Wow.
They started and they loved the concept. It started and it was tough. It was quite a difficult program.
Being a new product, people are not used to that. Yes.
Yes, and with all what happened during September 11 and the difficulties and everything, the program was kind of suspended for a while. We then started looking for a different company to write it. Standard Life took over the program, and they managed the program for 2 years. And they just the experience was too much for them, because the argument was that who are members of this cultural association, since there was no what we call in group life insurance, or what we call in insurance employer-employee, that yes, anyone can be a member of a cultural association, and those who are not insurable can still be a member of association. So with group life insurance, it has to be guaranteed.
Right.
So we insisted that the program should be guaranteed, which it was. And then having these people who are not insurable made it difficult for companies to underwrite it.
Right, because normal insurance, you want to find out, they even make you take tests, then how can we just go and just get a group, and we're not too sure of each individual in the group and who's joining and who's leaving, so you really are not sure of very specific data. How did you overcome that hurdle?
Well, we after 2 years, Standard did not want to continue with the program. Our partners, the Leclerc Corporation, was doing some business with Standard Life. Standard Life, you know them, they do the old people insurance and all that.
Right.
Very popular. They looked into the program, they so much loved it. Oh God, they are still the underwriters of this program as of today. So they looked into the program, they said they can do something. They can improve on the program, and they took over the program, and they became the underwriters of this program. We did get a slowdown in 2008 from Standard. I think after Obamacare, if I'm not mistaken, the definition of group life insurance changed, and it didn't include associations to have as valuable entities for group life insurance. So Hartford had to suspend this program, and then we're looking for that. To tell you how difficult this program is, we went through MetLife, all these companies in big companies, and not too many will do it.
Right.
After a while, we were advised to put the program in a trust and reapply in all the states to see whether the program can be accepted as it is. And I will tell you, my dear sister, that 44 states have approved the program as it is.
Oh, that's awesome. Of the 50 states that exist, 44 have.
Yes, 44 have. And we are still working on one big state, which is New York. And you know how difficult it is for New York.
I can well imagine.
New York, they take their time to approve a new product in their state.
I can imagine. I can well imagine.
Yeah,
that's very impressive to know.
Yeah.
So right now you are licensed and able to insure people in all of those 44 states that you've mentioned.
Yes.
Any group that exists. Do you
Yes.
do only African groups, by the way?
Well, for right now, we've insured. We used to have close to 300 African groups, but because of COVID and some other changes that we had in the program, so we lost a few of them. But right now we have close to 200 African groups insured. We can insure all groups, non-profit, as long as you are a non-profit, incorporated for 2 years.
Okay.
And you have a minimum membership of 15, we can insure you.
Oh, that's good to know. Say that again so that people who are listening can figure that, because that's the eligibility. I was going to ask you that. What's the eligibility?
It has to be a non-profit.
Non-profit.
Incorporated for 2 years.
At least been incorporated, like legally existing there for 2 years.
And then at least 15. At least
15 members.
15 members.
Wow.
We can also do churches. We have a few churches that we've done.
Okay.
So we have a few African churches that we've done. So if a church is looking for, because sometimes the churches are just like African.
The community, it depends on whoever, depending on the community and the setup, the church can end up being the one whose job it is to, when I say job, whose moral duty it is to actually send, to repatriate those loved ones who are heading back home. It's part of the community. Our churches are very much a community the same way our cultural associations also are. Because as you know, or as people who are listening to us may or may not know, we tend to group ourselves together under those umbrellas. My country people, so that's from my village, my clan, then also our kind of way of worship.
Yes.
Look at a place like Silver Spring, where I went there. You go to that Presbyterian church in Silver Spring, you might as well be in Aziri, PC Aziri in Mancon, or be in PC Boya, because it's the same thing. Everybody there is in the CWF uniform. That is the family, where if something happens, they will be directly affected.
The first time I used to travel a lot, especially when I started this program year 2000. I was introducing the program all over. I used to fly to do presentation. My first time I flew there was a Nigerian group. And we Africans, they will tell you that their meeting starts at 6 o'clock in the evening, and midnight they are still arguing and fighting. So I friend that I used to live with was in Colombia. Is it Colombia? Yeah. And I had to drive from DC I drive to Silver Spring, and I stopped by at the store to get something. I heard this guy goes, Bo, this I don't get salt. I said, this must be a Cameroonian.
Yeah. Yes, we cover it, and pretty much you find us everywhere. In the schools, since I'm a teacher, in the schools, more and more. This afternoon, actually, what was I doing? We have a group now in my school that is called the African Students Association, because there is a population large enough for that. Today was the first meeting, and I was going around asking, okay, so what are your connections to the motherland to see the eligibility of those in the group? This one says, my name is Musa, I'm from Mali. This one says, my name is whatever it is from Senegal. One says from the DRC. Very well, it was a huge room full of people in there. So more and more we have come out here into forming the diaspora. And so that group, that community is growing. And I know those will have churches here where they go and they actually play there and sing their hymns in Lingala. They don't go to your average First Baptist church, that kind of a thing. So trust me, when something happens, it is that church, that is the church, that is the family.
When we started this program, we're doing mostly West Africa. The West African communities, I hate to, but I think people understand what I mean. Right. We are kind of structured.
Right.
We would do our cultural events. Like most West African organizations meet quarterly, weekly, monthly, and they have the annual conventions. But East African organizations don't have that. They have what you call service type of associations. They have offices where you do immigrations and all those type of things.
Okay.
They don't have the type of African where you have to pay $100 to be a member of the cultural to your group.
Your monthly dues.
Your monthly dues. So it was difficult to introduce this program to them, but they are coming. We have groups now from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya that have come in to try to get it because they understand the value of this product.
I was just going to say that nothing like experience to teach you. Yeah. Even if you're not wanting to look at the thing, that after you've had a series of this, that's where in 1 month, you have to have a budget, a whole budget for those unforeseen circumstances, because if this insurance is not there, then you are the ones who have to pull out from your pockets and contribute. And after a while, if you do not get the common sense out of it, sometimes it is the necessity and the actual facts of things happening that force you, let me use it in quotes, force you to say, how long can we keep on going on like this? Maybe we should do this so that I hate to call it a burden, doesn't fall on us to keep on contributing and contributing and contributing. And you yourself now living there worry if something happens to me, will it fall upon my spouse or my children to actually handle this all by themselves? So I guess I'm not surprised to hear that more and more people are seeing the benefits of it and coming and wanting to join. So
I will tell you one thing. We have a Cameroon group in DC area that we've paid 13 claims. 13 in one group. Can you imagine if they had to do fundraising
from their pocket?
From their pocket. Yeah. We have a group in Houston that we've paid 9 claims, a Cameroon group.
Wow.
But that didn't change their rate. And that's what I want people to understand. It is not the amount of claims that we pay that determines.
Yes.
So this is a program which is designed for our community. I want to emphasize that it's
custom made to deal with our personal realities.
Yes, to meet our realities, especially when it comes to death. We know that we value death, and we want to give every family member a befitted, good burial. And West Africans are the very few immigrants that still prefer to be buried in Africa. If it wasn't the COVID,
right,
majority of it doesn't matter how long they've been here.
Yes,
they want to go back home.
Yep.
And that creates a problem, especially if they're not insured.
Right.
I'll tell you a little story. We had, oh bless his soul, we had a member of our community here in Minnesota. This guy believed in life insurance so much. He had his group insured. He promoted so many groups, and he had cancer. He worked with the government. He used all his resources in order to stay alive. He died. His wish was to be buried by his mom in Nigeria. And the only insurance that saved him at that time was the group life insurance, because he was part of that group. And guess what? He could not afford to pay his premium for 6 months.
While he was sick. Yes.
Because we get this argument always from members of the community that will say, I have insurance at work. Why do I need to have this group life insurance? There's a big difference.
What if like in his case, you are not actively working anymore because you are not well?
You are not well. Your employer will not take care of your insurance bill. Nope. But once you're a member of that particular group or your village group or whatever, you become a family. And I don't know of any group that would be so cold
as to kick you out because you're
sick.
When you're ailing like that. Yes.
And that's the difference. So the insurance, there's a difference in the awareness of the product within the community.
Right. Right. There are certain things which you're going to have a harder time explaining to somebody who's not of that same culture, of that same mindset about the importance of these kinds of things that you're just talking about right there. Already when I ask some of the students, like, where are you from? You're teaching them, where are you from? They name wherever it is that they were born as the place that they are from. And I'm going, it doesn't work like that for some of us. We are from wherever it is that our parents came from, that our father came from. Even if you've never even set foot there, you continue to say, I'm from that place, and you have your kind of ancestral ties to that place. And people have their wishes to want to go to where it is that they were there. Nikumba has said, home be home. Whether you rich, whether you poor, whether you said home be home. The last place where you go, like your home. That's all that he used to say. I don't know whether you're familiar with that song. That's what he was saying. That's the concept he was talking about right there. That no matter where it is that you go, north, east, west, and south, the last place where you go, now your home. That's the idea being that's where you return when at the end of life. I know it bothers some people to not be able to fulfill a loved one's wishes and end up having to bury them someplace else, because that at least should be a decision that you make, not because you do not have the funds. And I know that has been embarrassing also for some people to have to sit and pretty much do a GoFundMe, have to pretty much beg for something which, had there been this insurance that covers them, they would have had that issue. And also then you could I can see where the resentment will come from in the group that is saying, well, why didn't he insure? He did not get the insurance. Now we have to pay. And then there is that thing that clouds the what should have been a solemn, befitting kind of way of looking at things, and you're doing it and people are grumbling and saying, but why did the person not get the insurance? So I know that it is a tricky thing. People know the importance, but sometimes people hesitate because they're like, especially with so do you just not do individuals at all and only groups?
Well, we do individual. But this product is specifically for group life. We do individual. When, what I say, I even encourage people will say, I have insurance at work. So it's never enough to have insurance. Even if you have insurance at work, the maximum coverage for this group life insurance is 25,000. The 25,000 is not going to take care of your family when you pass. So it is. I tell everybody, get something in addition, especially some of us and the younger folks or younger immigrants, children who are used to this community drinking milk. And when you are not there, whoever is left behind should be able to at least continue some kind of
semblance of
the life that they were,
used to before, right?
Yeah, used to before.
Right.
And the other thing I also want to let your listeners understand, especially about this program, that again, it is guaranteed. There's the first year or the first 2 days, we've had issues where a group sent their application to us. We were still processing the application, and somebody died. The claim was honored. We paid the claim.
Oh wow!
We've also, since I told you that so many companies have difficulties doing this program because of the employer-employee situation, we've paid claims to maybe those members were not insurable.
Right.
We had conditions where they couldn't have.
They will not miss it.
But since they were part of the group life insurance,
they just slipped. They with that umbrella covered them too.
Yes, qualified. So this is a program that is designed to take care of the needs, the life insurance needs of our community, which didn't do GoFundMe. It breaks my heart. I take it sometimes very personal because I've done this for 20 years. Somebody will say, this is your business. Please, I'm part of the community.
Right.
I'm part of the cultural community. And I just it just kills me when we are doing fundraising for weeks. On
Right.
something that the insurance company
Could have covered. Yep. And while they're doing that fundraising for weeks, everything is in limbo. So the bereaved people are there, all stressed. You're not sure because they're not even sure. You cannot even fix a date.
Yes.
It's for anything because you don't know when you're going to reach that amount, the amount needed to do whatever it is that you have that you need to do. And so I see where you're coming from with this. So walk us through the process. So now here's a group, they're listening to you now. They are saying, okay, that sounds like something that we would like to do. Then what's the procedure?
The procedure for a group, as I said, they first of all have to be a non-profit, incorporated for 2 years. And the process is they have to reach us.
And how do they do that?
They can call me directly. Our number is 763-493-5107.
Okay, let me read that back to you from what I got. 763
yes
493 51. Oh, sorry.
No. 593.
Oh, not 493, 593.
593. 5107.
Okay, let me try that again. 763.
Yes.
593.
Yes.
5107.
7.
Okay, so that's the way they can start to call and then say then talk about what it is that they want done. So at this contact you.
They can also go to our website,
which is
cultural group benefits.
Cultural, all one long word, all one word, right?
Benefits at the end with an S. Cultural group benefits. Yes.
Oh, that's simple to remember. Culturalgroupbenefits.com and go on there, and then they'd see the documentation that you need to put together to submit the application.
Yes.
Okay.
We need simple, just their names, their date of birth, and the gender, male or female. And we'll get a code for them. The other thing that is required, and that was one of the criteria that the insurance company wanted from us, everybody who is going to participate in the program has to have a social security number.
Okay. Okay.
And must be a resident of United States, not necessarily having a green card, but you have to reside in United States.
Right. So if somebody like that, I'm thinking about those parents that have come and are living with them. Those are the kind of people that you may want that may fall in that category. They may not really have a green card. They may not actually be citizens, but then they be residing here and they have a social security number. They'll be eligible.
Yeah, they're eligible.
Okay. Yeah. And then you take it as a group. Can then I know that they talk about spouse, they talk about children, talk about, so who would this, only the insured people? Can you, like, okay, for example, I'm a member of a cultural group. I go, so if my husband did not join that cultural group, are there any benefits that will extend to
your husband? The program is that your husband, we base our member on the constitution of a particular group. Okay. We do not define who is a member of a particular group.
I see.
That has to be defined by the group. And itself. So there are some groups that are all male. And on their constitution, it says their wives are associate members of their.
I see.
I see. We do not,
It's not you to go and start you work with the documentation given to you.
Exactly.
Yes, whatever they have decided over there is that you work with what is that. That's interesting. Yes. That's interesting. And I'm talking about cultural groups. The cultural groups, does this include alumni associations?
It does include. It includes alumni associations. We had a Bishop Rogan.
Yes.
We had the federal government. It includes alumni association. It could be a Boya association. It could be a Bojongo association. It could be a Douala association. It could be Limbe. It could be Sigri Hat. It could be Seka. Seka used to be insured with us.
True.
Yes.
True.
So
that's what I wanted people to you can say people know, because we're talking about cultural group, and sometimes those alumni associations are not necessarily a cultural group, meaning it's not about your culture and whether what kind of food we eat and what kind of dances we do and what kind of dressing we do. It's an alumni association and it qualifies as well. So people,
as long as they're non-profit, that's the key. As long as they're non-profit and incorporated for at least 2 years.
That's it. It covers them too. So
covers them. Yeah. We have 10,000, 15, 20, and 25 as the maximum coverage. We came to that understanding because it takes about 25,000 to send a body back home. So and we have 2 types of child riders. We have a 5,500, 5,000 and the 7,500 for a child. And I can proudly tell you the rate for a child rider is for 5,000 it cents. It's per household, not per child. So if it's 60 cents, you have 10 children, it's 60 cents.
Oh, I see. That's really really interesting, and I would call it a fair deal. Now, looking into the future, I'm just trying to say, looking into the future, and the way things go with our next generations and the generations after that. Do we see that is likely to continue, or are we see what are the, how do you see that continuing down the road?
I love that question. I love that question. It has been a concern to us and that's why we are encouraging, if you see it on our website, we are encouraging groups to recruit younger people to continue this program.
Right.
If you don't have younger people in the program, your rates are going to go up. In order to keep your rate down, you have to bring all the young children who are adults.
Right.
And have to teach the culture to them and bring them into the program.
Yes, because the thing is, besides doing it for insurance sake, you need to be doing it for just the life of the group that you belong to.
That's correct.
There's no point having anything if you value it, and then it's going to end up ending with your demise. That's so once you're gone, the kids don't know anything about it. You have to actually nurture that sense of belonging in them, so they even want to belong in the first place before that even comes in as the natural continuation of the whole thing, as opposed to when you are not there, they don't take any pride. That's why I was telling you about this meeting this afternoon that I happened to have at school there, and it was my joy to just see them saying, "I'm from this, I'm from here, I'm from there," saying it with pride. And they were saying, "I was born here in 2000, whatever it is, but my parents are from so and so place. My grandma is from so and so place." And some of them were saying, "My great grand, that's the person who is even that they lay claim to as African, that far removed is the person who was over there." But then they right down now in their 14, 15, 16 are sitting down there proud to say, "I'm African," and talk about things. And then they even began a discussion there, the discussion talking about whose jollof rice is the best, Ghana or Nigeria. So you see, they know those things too.
They know those things, yes.
Right, and then they know about the music. They said, "Okay, we can do one of the times when we meet, we can do various cultural dances." So you see that they have learned the things and are taking pride in it. So it's not only the insurance thing will come in naturally, because the group already, first of all, is strong, because there's even a group that they want to go to, that they feel like they belong to. And I keep telling the younger ones that don't seem to be interested, I said, "But look at your African-American counterparts here, paying good money to go trace their lineage to wherever it is that they're from in the motherland. You have your ties to it, and you're not particularly caring about where it is that you actually come from, that sense of identity, that sense of belonging, and then having and then once you belong, once you constitute yourself into a group, that's what comes in. What you do as a group, as I was saying, born house happens, because that's part of life. Born house, things happen, graduations happen, and unfortunately, death also happens. Okay. And then how do you manage that? That is where the whole life insurance group life insurance thing comes into play, because there's no beating about the bush. Much as we don't like to think it, we wish it should not happen. We pray we should be healthy. We pray we should have long and healthy lives. We all know that that's not always the case, and that even if we had long, healthy lives, eventually that's an inevitable thing that's going to happen, and maybe you want to actually look ahead and consider those things. So what word would you have for the listeners, for the viewers? What is your appeal to them if you had a closing word to say, to give?
First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to your listeners. I have watched your program. It's a it's an amazing program. It's a very intelligent, and I thank you personally, and Molanyoki for introducing me into the program. I will tell your listeners that this program is there for us. I always like to include myself as part of the community.
Community, yes.
As I said, it's a guaranteed program, and Hartford loves the program. Hartford Life Insurance. They're still underwriting this program. There's no need, there still could be a need for fundraising. But this is what I say. If you take a $10,000 life insurance, it's what, because the group can afford. That's a start.
Right.
You can say, okay, well, we have a $10,000 life insurance.
We just need.
Let's do fundraising if our budget is $20,000. We have 10,000 from the life.
At least already. Yes.
At least already. Then fundraising for the balance. At least you've had a guaranteed 10,000.
True.
Yes.
And I've done some GoFundMe things like that before. When you send that link out for people to contribute, when they see the amount that they're supposed to, people are like that. I mean, like, when are we going to get to this amount? You see, it can be discouraging that way to people who even wanted to do. Whereas if you already had a certain amount and you're looking to raise just the balance, like you say, when it looks like a reachable goal, then people can come and say, okay, let us try to donate. So I see where you're saying that even if the full thing, if you don't get the full thing from the group life insurance, at least be raising. Let me use the term that it is, be begging for less.
Yes, for less. That's also what I will say, an addition to this product. We if you look at it, please visit our website. You will see.
Let me remind what the website is. That is Cultural Group Benefits with an S.com.
Yeah, Cultural Group Benefits. There's a new product there called Farm Provider.
Farm, like the farm where you plant things?
Yes, Farm Provider. Okay. It's also a new insurance product that we've introduced.
Okay.
Limited to a few states right now, to Connecticut, DC, Virginia, Ohio, Georgia, and Illinois. Okay. We are hoping to expand that to other states. This is a very unique product. For those who are looking for additional life insurance, it's a term product. You can, for right now, you can get up from 25,000 up to 250,000.
This is individual now, not individual.
Okay. Based on your, once you are approved, I want your listeners to listen. For those who are in those states, once you are approved, you can include, I think, up to 4 or 6. I hope I gave you can include your relatives without any proof of insurability from $5,000 or $10,000. They have guaranteed coverage. Once the main insured is approved, you can include your parents, your in-law.
Okay. Okay, but this they will still have to have a social security number and be residing here just to make sure.
Let me tell you what this program is on the other side. Ghanaians, because I don't know whether because Ghana is so stable, the company that is underwriting this is Colombia.
Okay.
All right. I think they have an understanding with the Ghanaian government. If you are a Ghanaian, you get this program, you can insure your parents in Ghana without any insurability, up to 10,000. If we succeed in Ghana, we're going to move to other African countries.
That would be something. So they don't even have to be, that idea of resident here doesn't even apply.
No, it doesn't, yes.
They can stay right there. Wow. Yeah. Be right there where they want to, because we know how our parents act. They come out here, then they get bored and we want to go back, They miss their country meeting, they miss their church things, and they want to go back.
It's going to be a lot of peace of mind if you are here and you insure your parents back home for $10,000. That's a lot of money for burial back home.
Right.
And you don't have to prove that they are healthy enough to get the insurance because you are already insured.
Right. Oh, that's different from what we normally, most insurance companies, they will ask you to do this test, ask you to do that test, ask you to do all of those kinds of things. But this is actually insuring someone that they haven't even really laid eyes on.
Yes.
Oh, that is really important. Good to know. So I will tell you sorry, go on, Mullah.
There are 2 videos, animated videos on our website. So your listeners, if they want to, click on those videos, that will help
learn more about the products that you're offering.
Yes.
And how to go about applying. But at least they have, listening now, they have 2 ways that they can get to you to know more for themselves or for their groups. So there's 763-593-5107, which they can call.
Yes.
And then there's the culturalgroupbenefits.com website that they can actually go to and find out more. That's the least you could do. Doesn't hurt. How does it hurt? Go on and at least find out, so that by the time you're making a decision, you're making an informed decision about these choices. There may be a reason why you happen to tune in today and why you're listening to this. You don't want to come and be the kind of person who like some people have been known to say, okay, well, that my insurance for the car insurance, let me just let this 1 month pass. I'll do it later. And then that same day, God forbid, you go and that's the day somebody decides to rear-end you and you're like, oh my God, I'm not covered. So some of those things are like that. We think about them and say, yeah, I will think about it. I'll think about it. Maybe you actually want to sit down, take the time. Right after this show, go on to culturalgroupbenefits.com. Just read, listen to those, watch and listen to those videos and see whether it's something that's going to be good for your family group, your church group, whatever group that it is that you belong to, where lately you have been dishing out of your pocket funds to help for precisely things which this insurance could have covered. So the very last word now is Mullah's to give to at least that's what I'm going to tell them. What's the final appeal?
The final appeal, first of all, again, I want to say thank you. Thank you immensely. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, me especially. And I just want to tell your listeners, with the health conditions that we have right now, COVID,
right?
Please, it's no joke. We've had groups that have lost more than 1 member. 3, we had a few that lost about 3 of them in a few weeks. And because fortunately they were all insured with us. We've also had a group that was traveling and lost a few members, and unfortunately 2 of the members were not part of the insurance. They had to do fundraising. So all what I'm saying is, please, as long as you are a member of a cultural community, that community is your extended family in the United States.
True.
Care for you and they want you to have a befitted burial.
Mm-hmm.
All what you can do for them is be part of the group and be insured. Because if you pass, they're going to give you a befitted burial.
Right. And they want to not have to be, it is a sad thing if they have to be doing it, and let's be frank, grumbling.
Yeah, grumbling. Oh,
grumbling
yeah.
And saying, yes, just look at the thing is as possibly this. So, I mean, I nobody wants that kind of feeling that people are there saying, that you actually have ended up being a burden. And people's first reaction when you see them crying even at the funeral, you're not sure whether they're crying because they miss you, but they're crying because their pockets have been empty.
Yes,
So,
yes. Yeah, I just got a group from Dallas, and they took a $10,000 coverage because of COVID. They lost 3 of their members, and they didn't want to go through that again.
Again, it had been
yes,
a lesson learned, and
3 members, and they had to do fundraising for 3 members.
All three, because of course now fairness, you cannot say you raise for one person when the other person happened, then you're not going to raise for the other person, and so that's going to be it, and then you just have to pray that no other thing comes along, because all of those things are out of our hands; they're in the hands of the Almighty. So those are the things you never know. But as insurance, with all insurance, even the car insurance and everything, is for primarily your own peace of mind.
Yes,
and living as a community, solidarity with our people. Just like when they say, okay, even the idea of mass, some will say, I don't necessarily believe in it. But you think about the fact that some other people you do it for the sake of others, not just for yourself, but for the sake of others too.
I'm happy you mentioned that. Please, all of us who left our beloved country and migrated to this place.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying that if you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. It's more than that.
Right.
Please, nobody is praying for you to die.
Mm-mm.
Please, we stop that notion that somebody is praying for you to die because they talk about life insurance.
Right.
Somebody wants to. No, when you are gone, there's a tremendous loss within your family.
Mm-hmm.
You are not there. You're not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But help to give them the financial relief.
Mm-hmm.
Bury you.
Right.
That's all they're asking. Please help us to give financial relief so we can bury you.
Right.
We're not wishing you to die. It's only God that is going to take it.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about at the very beginning. Why some people don't want to listen to that, and then some people say, okay, they've got to take insurance. You watch a few movies here that say, okay, they want the person to die quickly so I can get insurance money from them. And those are the kind of on their stead, in their stead of. So those are the kind of things that people think about. But we all know the bottom line, like you're saying, is the hardship that comes. You, as you say, you're already grieving, you're already hurting emotionally.
Yes.
To have to hurt financially too is only compounding the issue and making it far worse. So I think point well taken for all of you, everybody listening here, that those 501c3s, those not-for-profits, they are there. There's a lot of them, a lot of alumni associations from all countries, from all the how many countries that Africa has. I know there's some who are listening to this and who will give it some thought and who will definitely be calling to find out what it is that they can do to preempt all of these hardships, some of them avoidable. There's some hardships that come on you, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you could have done to preempt it. But for something like this that you can do to manage a situation that is bound to happen because there's going to be deaths in the community, maybe it's a smart thing to do to look into it and then figure out if this is something that you can do and get your group insured. All right, Mula, I want to thank you, even though you're thanking us, I want to thank you too for coming to bring, this is a community-based radio. We are trying to put out there things that are of benefit to the community, things that are going to help the community get stronger, healthier, and just work better as in our various groups, even as an umbrella group, because we belong, as we said, we belong to all the little tiny groups, and then there are umbrella ones that also cover us all. What hurts one group ends up hurting the other too. when things are not going on well, if there's the overflow that overflows into the community, if that church is not able to raise funds to send that person home, guess what? They start appealing to everybody, even outside that group. So it affects us all. So we are happy that you took the time. Also, you're coming to us right from your office right there. You've had a busy day. You made some time to come and explain your product so people can hear it and hear about it and look into it. And I'm hoping go ahead and take out that those insurance policies for their cultural groups. So if you have nothing else to add, then I'm going to go ahead and say thank you once more and goodbye, and hope and all the best with this products. I hope it spreads to more and more till you can finally say all 50 states, not just 44, all 50 states are involved. And then the other ones that you said are only in Connecticut, and I don't remember what other states you said, that will also spread and grow as time goes on.
Thank you very much, Ian.
You're welcome, Mula. All the best.
All the listeners.
I hope they listened, and I hope they heard us. I'm pretty sure that they did, and will act accordingly. All right then, Mula. You take care and God bless.
Same to you.
All right.